Imagine this. 2 forklift drivers, same experience, same shift, same pay. One sees a posting, applies on Tuesday, gets a call that afternoon, clear directions, smooth first day, and by the end of the week they're saying, yeah, I think I'll stay here for a while. The other applies, waits, hears nothing for days, gets a last-minute text about a start time, shows up to a guard shack that doesn't know their name, and just never comes back after lunch. Same worker profile, different journey, completely different outcome.
And the wild part is, most teams blame the person. We say, oh, that's just a no-show, or guess they didn't want to work. But when you zoom out, you realize it's not just a moment problem. It's a journey problem. There were 3 or 4 spots along the way where that second worker basically got pushed out without anyone meaning to.
You're listening to Workers.com, Staffing Pulse, where we share insights from the front line of industrial and light industrial staffing. I'm Jennifer, a personnel manager who spends a lot of time helping workers and employers actually meet in the middle.
And I'm Sam, staffing manager, usually the guy on the phone trying to make sure people actually get from that job board click all the way to the break room on their first week.
Today, we're mapping what we call the real candidate journey in industrial staffing. Not just the application or the interview, but every step a worker takes from seeing your job post to feeling settled in that first week.
And if you're a supervisor or recruiter listening in your car on the way to the plant, stay with us. This is not a consultant buzzword episode. We're going to keep this really practical and very warehouse-friendly.
Exactly. By the end, you'll have a super simple one-page way to sketch your own process and 2 or 3 easy fixes you can try this week. And if you're job hunting right now, you'll also know what a healthy hiring journey should feel like and when something feels off.
All right, so let's start by putting some plain language around this. When we say candidate journey, what we really mean is the entire experience a worker has with you from the first moment they notice the job until the moment they think, okay, I actually work here now.
Yes, it's every text, every call, every form they fill out, the map you send or don't send, the way they're greeted at the door, what happens on day 1, and that first week when they're deciding, quietly, do I trust these people? Do I see myself here?
And in high-volume environments, warehouses, distribution centers, food production, light manufacturing, that journey is everything. Because people have options. If your process feels confusing, slow, or a little bit disrespectful, they just move on to the next place that texts them back faster.
What I see over and over is we tend to only notice single points. We notice the no-show. We notice the early quit on day 3. We notice the person who stops answering messages. But we don't trace back and ask, what did it feel like to be them for the last 7 days?
And once you do that, once you walk it step by step, you start seeing the little potholes. The job ad that sounds like 3 different jobs in one. The voicemail you left but never followed up. The gate code they never got. It's never just one big dramatic mistake. It's usually a bunch of tiny frictions stacked together.
So here's how we're going to break it down today. 5 key touch points. From the worker's point of view, job ad, first contact, pre-start communication, day 1 experience, and first week follow-up.
Think of these as 5 doors your candidate has to walk through. At every door, you can either make it easier to keep going or easier to quietly disappear.
Let's start with the job ad, because that's where the journey really begins. From a worker's view, they're scrolling on their phone, usually on a break or late at night. They see a warehouse helper role. What they want to know is simple. What is this job? Where is it? What does it pay? And can I actually do it?
And instead, they sometimes get 3 paragraphs of buzzwords, no shift details, and a pay range that feels like a mystery. Or it says various locations with no clue how far that really is from their bus line.
Exactly. A good industrial job ad is clear, honest, and specific. It uses plain language. You'll be picking and packing boxes up to 40 pounds. This is a refrigerated environment. You'll be on your feet the whole shift. And it names the shift, the approximate location, and a realistic pay range.
From the worker side, that clarity builds trust before they ever hit apply. From your side, it screens in people who are actually ready for that environment, which reduces those first-day surprises and quick quits.
Okay, touch point number 2, first contact. This is that very first human interaction, usually a call, text, or email after the application. For a lot of workers, this moment decides, am I taking this seriously or not?
If you wait 3 or 4 days to reach out, there's a good chance someone else already did. In this market, speed is a sign of respect. A quick text that says, "Got your application, when's a good time to talk?" can make a huge difference.
And then, when you actually connect, simple things matter. Use their name, confirm the role they applied for, and summarize what happens next. For example, today we'll confirm your experience, then we'll schedule you for orientation at the site on Thursday. You'll get a text with the address and what to bring.
From the worker's perspective, that removes a ton of anxiety. They're not wondering, did I say the right thing? What happens now? They know the next step. And people are much more likely to follow through when the path is visible.
Touch point 3, pre-start communication. This is everything that happens between you're confirmed for this job and them actually showing up on site. Honestly, this is where we lose a lot of people.
Yeah, because life happens in that gap. Childcare falls through, the car breaks down, another job calls back, or they just get nervous. If they don't hear from you in that window, it's really easy for them to drift away or assume you forgot about them.
Strong pre-start communication looks like this. You send a confirmation text with date, time, address, who to ask for, and what to wear. Maybe even a quick line like, plan to arrive 15 minutes early to get through security. Then you send one more reminder the day before or the morning of.
One of my favorite low-cost moves is a simple, "You've got this" style message. Something like, "Hi Maria, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 6 a.m. for your first shift at the Oak Street warehouse. Text back if you have questions." It feels small, but it tells them, we're expecting you, and we're here if you're unsure about anything.
Now, touch point 4, day 1 experience. This is make or break. If they show up and no one knows who they are, or they're standing at a gate trying to wave someone down, that first impression is really hard to recover from.
From a worker's view, the questions on day 1 are simple. Am I safe? Do I know what to do? And do people here seem to care if I'm confused? If those answers are all yes, they're going to give it a fair chance, even if the work is tough.
For employers and staffing teams, that means lining up some basics. Tell security or the front office who's coming. Have a clear check-in spot. Make sure someone greets them by name. Give a short, focused orientation on safety, where the restrooms are, where to put their lunch, and who they go to with questions.
And volume is not an excuse. Even if you're onboarding 20 people at once, you can still say, "Okay, everyone, welcome. If I mispronounce your name, correct me. We're really glad you're here today." That tiny human touch goes a long way in a big warehouse.
Then we get to touchpoint 5, first week follow-up. By this point, the worker kind of knows what the job feels like, but they're still deciding whether they stay or keep looking. This is where a lot of early turnover can either be prevented or locked in.
From their side, a healthy first week includes at least one moment where someone checks in and says, "How's it going?" Not in a rushed way, but in a real, "Are there any surprises? Anything you're unsure about?" kind of way.
For staffing agencies, a quick call or text after shift 2 or 3 is huge. "Hey, just making sure the role matches what we discussed. Any concerns so far?" You'd be amazed how many small issues like glove sizes, locker confusion, or a supervisor style clash can be handled before they turn into a resignation.
So those are the 5 doors: job ad, first contact, pre-start, day 1, and first week. Now, if you're an employer or recruiter listening, you might be thinking, "Okay, that's a lot. I don't have time to build a whole flow chart."
Let's make this really simple. You do not need a giant diagram on the wall. You need 1 page. Across the top, write those 5 touch points in a row. Under each one, jot down what currently happens. Just bullet points, no perfection needed.
For example, under job ad, you might write, "We copy and paste the same description for all warehouse roles. We list a wide pay range, and we don't always mention the shift." Under first contact, we usually call within 48 hours, sometimes send a text. That's it. Just be honest about what really happens on your busiest days.
Then, step 2 is to circle the friction points. Ask yourself, where are people dropping off? Is it after they apply? Before they show up? After day 1? Wherever the drop-off is, look straight up at that touch point and ask, what might feel confusing or stressful for them right there?
And finally, step 3. Pick 2 or 3 realistic fixes. Not 10, just a small number you can actually do. Maybe it's rewriting your top 3 job ads to be clearer. Maybe it's setting a rule. We respond to all applicants within 24 hours. Or adding 1 text reminder before day 1. Small, repeatable moves.
That's your journey map. 1 page, 5 boxes, a few problems circled, and a short list of fixes. You don't have to solve everything at once to see a real reduction in no-shows and early quits.
Let's walk through some specific low-cost improvements at each touchpoint, just to get your wheels turning.
Starting with job ads, swap vague phrases for specifics. Instead of fast-paced environment, say, "You'll be walking and lifting boxes throughout the 8-hour shift." List the shift times clearly. If there's a temperature factor, freezer, heat, name it. And keep the language at a level that makes sense to someone who might be newer to this industry.
Team-oriented, self-starter, highly motivated. Those lines don't really tell anyone what they'll be doing. Trade some of that space for real information about daily tasks or tools they'll use, like pallet jacks, scanners, or labeling.
For first contact, one easy upgrade is a template. Have a short text and call script ready so every candidate hears the same key info: role, pay, shift, location, and next step. You can still personalize it, but you're not forgetting the basics when things get hectic.
And if you can, tighten the response time. Even moving from 3 days to 1 day can make a visible difference in show rates. Put a simple rule in place, like checking new applications twice a day, and stick to it.
On pre-start communication, directions are a big one. Don't just send an address, send landmarks. Enter through the gate next to the blue water tower, or park in Lot C by the loading docks and check in at door 5. Include anything about ID, safety shoes, or dress code so they're not guessing.
I like to think of it as, would my cousin, who's never been to a plant, be able to find this place at 5 a.m. in the dark? If the answer is no, add more detail.
For day 1, even if you can't control everything on the site, you can coordinate. Share your start list with the supervisor the day before. Ask them who's greeting new people. If you're on site, take 30 seconds with each worker to say, if anything feels unsafe or different from what we discussed, call us. It shows you're in their corner.
Then, in that first week, set a reminder in whatever system you use. Day 2 or 3, send a quick check-in. It can be as simple as, hey, this is Sam from the staffing office. How's the Oak Street shift going so far? You'll catch problems early, and workers remember who actually followed up with them.
Now, let's flip the lens for a minute. If you're a job seeker listening, what should a healthy hiring journey feel like for you?
First, it should feel reasonably clear. You should know what job you're being considered for, what the pay and shift are, and what the next step is. You shouldn't feel like you're chasing people just to find out if you're still in the running.
Second, it should feel respectful. That doesn't mean everything is perfect or slow. Industrial environments move fast, but people should use your name, explain changes, and give you basic information like directions, dress code, and who to ask for on day 1.
Red flags? If the job keeps changing every time you talk to someone, pay, shift, duties, and no one explains why. Or if you can't get a straight answer on where to go or who you report to.
Another red flag is if you raise a simple, reasonable question like, will I be lifting over 50 pounds? Or is this a cold environment? And people brush you off or act annoyed. You have every right to know what you're walking into.
So how do you ask for clarity without hurting your chances? It's all in how you phrase it. For example, you can say, I want to make sure I'm reliable for you. Could you walk me through what my first day will look like?
Or, just so I can plan transportation and childcare, can you confirm the exact start time and which entrance I should use? You're showing that you're serious and you want to be prepared. That's a positive, not a negative.
If you're feeling uneasy, you might say, can we go over the job duties again? I want to be sure it matches what we discussed earlier. A good recruiter or supervisor will respect that and clarify anything that changed.
So, whether you're hiring or job hunting, here are your action steps as we wrap up.
If you're an employer or staffing pro, grab one sheet of paper, today, not next month. Across the top, write job ad, first contact, pre-start, day 1, first week. Under each, write what actually happens right now. Circle 1 or 2 spots where people drop off. Then choose 2 or 3 small fixes you can try over the next week.
If you're a job seeker, take a minute to think about your last 2 or 3 hiring experiences. Ask yourself, which parts felt clear and respectful, and which parts felt confusing? That awareness helps you spot better opportunities and gives you the confidence to ask for the information you need.
And remember, a smoother journey is not just about making people feel good. It directly affects no-shows, early turnover, safety, and your ability to cover shifts without burning everyone out.
That's it for this episode of Workers.com Staffing Pulse, Insights from the Front Line. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us in the middle of your busy day.
Keep looking at that path between I'm interested and I feel settled, because that's where the real staffing wins live. Let's dive in again soon, and until next time.